All right, so let's start this broadcast with some news that has come in from Pakistan's Rawalpindi's Commissioner Liaquat Ali Chhat, who has now been arrested after he resigned and admitted failure in conducting free and fair elections. Liaquat Ali Chhat admitted to rigging, saying that at least about 13 losing candidates were declared as winners. Listen in.
मैं वो इलेक्शन ठीक नहीं करवा सका और मैं अपने ओहदे से यहाँ इस्तीफा दे रहा हूँ। मैंने जो इस इलेक्शन में गलत काम किया है, रावलपिंडी के 13 एमएलए की सीटें जो हारी हुई लोगों को हमने जितवाया है।
Now, all this has come at a time when protests are taking place across Pakistan over allegations of election rigging. Now, thousands of supporters of the Grand Democratic Alliance, the GDA, have hit the streets in southern Sindh province. In Jamshoro, the leaders and the supporters of the GDA staged a sit-in protest and blocked the Hyderabad-Jamshoro interchange, demanding for free and fair results of the recently held elections. The protest and also the highway blockade in Sindh has come just a day after the workers and the supporters of different political parties in Quetta had blocked all the main highways linking the Balochistan province with the entire nation.
This is our constitutional right to stage protest. Our protest is against the stolen elections. Who will accept this election? The entire election was based on fraud. The election results were already sold out.
And also in the latest, Imran Khan's party, the PTI, has called on its cadre and its supporters to prepare for a historic and a peaceful protest in Islamabad against alleged rigging in the recently concluded assembly elections. And trenches have been dug outside the National Press Club in the capital city, and the police patrolling has also increased on the ground. Not only this, counter-terrorism department personnel have also been deployed to deal with any emergency ahead of the PTI's protests. In a related development, a leading Pakistani cleric has now partially retracted his statement accusing the top military leadership of toppling the former Prime Minister Imran Khan's government in April 2022 through a no-confidence vote. Maulana Fazlur Rahman of the Jamiat-e-Ulama-e-Islam Fazl had claimed during a television news talk show on Thursday night that the former army chief, General Qamar Javed Bajwa, had toppled the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf's government. Now, Pakistan, remember, voted in the national and the provincial elections on the 8th of February, but the polls were marred by allegations of rigging to defeat the independent candidates backed by the jailed former Prime Minister and the PTI chief, Imran Khan. And we earlier spoke with our Pakistan Bureau Chief, Anas Malik, who joined us live from Islamabad, and this is what he had to say.
The PTI continues to hold its protests. It's not just the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, but yesterday we saw mammoth of demonstrations and protests by the GDA, the JUIF as well, in parts of interior Sindh. So these protests is something that is not new in Pakistan. We've seen that happen earlier in 2013 and then subsequently in 2018 as well after the elections. So I personally foresee that unless and until there is no agreement with regards to who comes in and forms the government, these protests would do no good. And except for building public pressure, at this point of time, there doesn't seem to be a rethought or the phase of rethinking within the powers that be to go ahead and do some course correction.
All right, now to give us more perspective in terms of what, of course, can be expected to happen in Pakistani politics, we're being joined by Mr. Syed Javed Hassan, who's a columnist, and he's joining us live from London. Mr. Hassan, these are some pretty explosive comments that have been made by the Rawalpindi Commissioner, where he has said that rigging, in fact, happened under his watch. He's also come out and made the statement that he was simply not able to stop what transpired. What are we to make of this statement by the Rawalpindi Commissioner?
It's quite earth-shattering. I mean, he's a very senior bureaucrat. He's saying it's not simply a case of rigging taking at a downstream. He's making allegations where he includes the chief election commissioner plus the chief justice. And he suggests that they are all in cahoots in this rigging process. Has to be said that there's more and more evidence that is coming through in terms of the rigging process. But not only that, his statement, being a very senior bureaucrat who was in charge of the elections, gives the allegations of rigging quite a lot of credence. So I think it is very important what has happened today. What is also worrying is that he's been arrested soon after his statement. So I don't know what pressures he's being put under, but that will also raise a lot of red flags. I'd like to add a very senior constitutional lawyer, Salman Akram Raja, who was a candidate in Lahore, and whose seat he claims was taken away by rigging, has also been arrested and moved to unknown parts. So it is boiling. A lot of things are going on, and I think the public is very restless. The crowds that have happened in Sindh have never been seen before. But we are seeing that now in Peshawar, in Islamabad, in Lahore. The public is not willing to accept the rigging, alleged rigging that has taken place. So the results will have very little credibility unless there is an independent investigation and it's clear how the extent of the rigging.
You know, you say that there has to be an independent investigation, but considering that the allegation that is being made is against the Chief Election Commissioner and also a top judge of the Pakistani Supreme Court, who at this moment can do an independent investigation that would actually satisfy the people of Pakistan that the electoral process that happened the 8th of February was actually a legitimate one?
I think there are lots of bodies across the world. There's the Commonwealth organization, which is monitoring it right now. They can go through the election results. There's the EU Commission monitors. They're there. There's FAFN, which has also suggested that there has been rigging. Also, the Human Rights Commission. So a combination of these can very quickly be put together. Moreover, the rigging has been done apparently in a very ham-fisted manner, where Form 45 numbers have been collated, and Form 47, which is the collated number, has just been arbitrarily changed. That is the allegation. So it should not take too long to actually see where this has, these numbers have been altered. So I don't think it needs a huge amount of investigation over a number of weeks and months. This can be done relatively quickly.
But the crisis that it has sparked is something that it appears will not end anytime soon, because, you know, the allegation that this individual, Liaquat Ali Chattha, has made is that he says, and let me quote him here, he said, "We made independent candidates who had leads of 70 to 80,000 votes lose by putting up fake stamps." This is his statement. If this is the scale of rigging, you know, where leads of 70 to 80,000 votes were overturned, then how many seats did it happen, and what does it mean to the future from here on of Pakistani politics, and even for that matter for the democratic process? How do you see that unfolding?
Well, the democratic process has been put into question even after the Economic Intelligence Unit ranking, where Pakistan has been degraded from being a hybrid country to an authoritarian country. But this further is the nail in the coffin. But the fact of the matter is, there is quite substantive evidence that is coming through that seems to provide credence to allegations. It's very dark times for Pakistani democracy. There needs to be course correction among those who might be involved in this process. We obviously have to emphasize that at this moment it's allegations, but the allegations seem to have a lot of credibility about it.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Syed Javed Hassan, for joining us and getting us that perspective there.
Thank you very much for having me.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.